Hello there, I'm James Volpe Rotundi on behalf of Acoustic Guitar Magazine here at Zen Easy Studios in East Nashville, Tennessee. And it's my pleasure to bring to you today two lovely new guitars from the Gibson Generation series, brand new series from Gibson. I've got the G45 right here, and over here to my left is the G200. Now the 200, as you can see, is based on that 200 series classic jumbo design. With a single cutaway on it, and the G45, as you might suspect, is modeled after the J45 of Gibson, which obviously a classic guitar in their lineup. Now, interestingly, there was a G45 that came out a few years ago. This has replaced that. And I guess what's notable about these guitars, beyond the fact that they are essentially budget-priced guitars, is that they both feature a player port. This is a little extra sound hole here. This is not a terribly uncommon feature in guitars made by certain classical luthiers and certain archtop luthiers as well. But it's atypical to see them much in acoustic guitars, although some of the other notable acoustic guitar builders are featuring them recently as well. So what does the player port do for you? Well, I'll tell you, honestly, it really acts as more of a personal sort of acoustic monitor than anything else. It's gonna just basically open up the sound. We're so used to having our sound direct out at the people in front of us. They get all the benefit of our rich coppery tone, and you know, we're kind of like, what does it sound like? Well, with the player port, you don't have to ask that question anymore. It's all right there for you, popping out of the top end of this guitar. Especially when you bring your head down, as many of us like to do when we're writing, right? Right, we like to kind of get in there, and it brings the sound right up to your ears. And it can also benefit the players around you. It'll give them a little more dimension on your sound as well. Now, the G45 has a slope-shouldered dreadnought shape, just like the J45. It's got a solid Sitka spruce top, solid walnut back and sides, a striped ebony bridge here, and it's got a tusk saddle, Grover mini rotomatic tuners up top, and a traditional scalloped X-bracing with a nitrocellulose finish, kind of a satin nitrocellulose finish. So it's not especially glossy, and that's real nice. I like that a lot. The neck has got a 24.75-inch scale length. It's made of utile or utile. It's kind of an alternative wood, and it's got what Gibson calls an advanced response profile, a 16-inch radius. It's got a striped ebony figureboard, as I mentioned, with these acrylic dot inlays, 20 standard frets, and a tusk nut. It's a good guitar, this one, and I'll tell you why. We associate J45s with kind of a very focused little roll off the lows, roll off the highs, and get that nice, maybe slightly mellow or dark, compact mid-range. This guitar has all that, but I like the fact that perhaps owing slightly to the player port, you're going to get a little more zing. Lovely guitar. The J45 streets for around $11.99. I'll tell you what, let's check out the similarly cool G200. Now, like you, I'm not that familiar with 200 type guitars, these sort of jumbos, and my first impression of it was, damn, this thing's big. I mean, it just takes up a lot of place on your lap. But as soon as I started playing this, especially single note stuff, I was very impressed by how playable it was up the neck. It really surprised me, in fact. I thought this would be kind of an unwieldy guitar, but it's certainly not unwieldy. It's Now, unlike the G45, this G200 actually does come with an internal pickup system, and that is the LR Baggs Element Bronze. Interesting to choose Baggs, of course, a terrific company. Gibson has often used Fishman in the past, but right now they've gone for I believe, a special model with these guitars from Baggs, and that is the Element Bronze, which has a good wide dynamic range, good response. Across the board, and brings out a lot of the nice overtones that both of these guitars have. But again, you'll only find the Element Bronze right now in the of these two in the G200. What else can you say about this guitar? If you want to play the Who, this would definitely deliver those sort of acoustic rock tones in spades. Just a big, bodacious guitar with tone for days. I absolutely adore these fret inlays. They're really sexy and cool. Again, you've got the mini Rotomatic tuners up there keeping this thing remarkably in tune. And as I mentioned, what Gibson calls the player port, sometimes called a sound port. And this does in fact create a slightly more airy sound, certainly to the ears of the player. It's almost, it's almost a bit like the difference between a closed-back guitar cabinet, an amp cabinet, and an open back. There's just clearly a little more air, and you're going to receive more of that lovely top-end stuff when you play it. I hope you've enjoyed listening to these two guitars. Again, it's the Gibson Generation series from Gibson, and I've been playing the G200 and the G45, both featuring the new Gibson player port. The G200 streets for about $19.99, so not quite as accessible as the G45 at $11.99, but both great guitars, obviously with a great tradition and history behind them, and clearly part of Gibson's very energetic new response to the market in the last 3 years since they changed ownership and changed hands, and the management team has been kicking some butt, and these guitars are very much following in that tradition and putting some really high quality guitars out there for not too much outlay on the part of the player. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm James Volpe Rotundi for Acoustic Guitar Magazine, coming to you from Zen Easy Studios in East Nashville, Tennessee. Be well.